respond to it. He was on there. See, I put mine there.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Angela O'Hare, your favorite Las Vegas realtor.
Hey, and I'm Rob Howe, Rockstar Realtor.
And welcome to our market monthly update for May 2023. And in this issue, we are going to be going over April 2023 numbers. Okay. So I think we're going to skip the niceties of what's going on because I have a feeling this is going to be a very long market update and it's going to be a controversial market update.
Controversy.
Okay, folks. So when we go over these market numbers, we're going over the month before. We're going over what is the here and now with the Las Vegas real estate market. We are not predicting what's going to be happening in the next 6 months to a year. Although we do some predictions, we only do it within the next month or two based off of the numbers that we have been following on our previous market updates. We are not fortune tellers, so I cannot predict what the future will bring. So basically, real quick, Rob is a lifelong resident of Las Vegas, has been a real estate agent or a realtor for over 14 years.
Yep, going on 14 years.
Going on 14 years.
Yep.
I've been in Vegas for over 30 years, have been in real estate for 7 years. Okay. We are experienced, licensed real estate agents here in Nevada.
Yeah.
Right. And we're quite successful.
Yeah.
And
certainly.
I would like to think that we know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we have boots on the ground, continuously working with clients. So what we say is, and I had a video last week about the truth about the Las Vegas market. Okay.
Okay.
We're talking about the here and now, guys. We're not talking about what may happen in the future. So,
yeah, I mean, you can, I mean, you know, you can say a lot of things about what may happen in the future, and you may be right.
You may be right.
But I want to point towards, and I think we want to point towards things that were, you know, proof, evidence, numbers, things that tell us what's really happening.
What's happening the here and now.
Right.
The true story of what is happening with the Las Vegas real estate market. Okay. And so basically, we have a new term for it. What's our new term?
Oh, doomers.
We have a lot of doomers. I was calling them doomer and gloomers.
Yeah, it's like, you know, like boomers, right?
Right, doomers. We have
this is doomers.
And basically, doomers attract people who want to believe what these doomers are saying. Right?
Yeah, or maybe not even want to, they just already believe it. I mean,
right. They believe what these doomers are saying. So obviously they're going to follow them.
It just melts right into their soul.
Right. All right. So basically, I'm just going to try to summarize what I wrote. The reason I say it's going to be very controversial is because a lot of doomers out there are saying the opposite of what we are saying, right?
Or what is happening.
What is happening.
Right. They're saying the opposite of what is happening, and maybe they've been even wrong month over month. Maybe eventually they'll get it right. But anyway, sorry.
This is true. So then we're not conforming to what everyone is speculating. We are saying that the numbers are painting a whole different picture. These doomers are saying that the sky is falling. There's going to be an abundance of inventory on the market and the market is going to crash. We are saying, no, the sky is not falling. And from what we are seeing, the market is not crashing.
I'm plain and simple. It's just not crashing.
It's not crashing.
And certainly in this very moment, that is the case. It's not crashing. I can show you. We're going to talk all kinds of numbers here, but
yes,
we can show you this. You know, in 7 days from now, I can show you what happened in 7 days from now, and you'll see.
And you've been doing a lot of those market updates that paint what's happening for the week of Las Vegas sales.
Absolutely,
right.
So smaller and smaller snapshots, because we do this monthly thing, and we see the last 30 days. This will tell me what happens. We can see what happens in the last 7 days.
Right.
And it tells a little bit of it paints the next picture a little bit, right?
Exactly. So then I want to talk about Zillow and Redfin price jumps. Some of these doomers will bring up Zillow and they'll say, All right, look
Sure.
at this $1 million listing. It's dropped 600,000 in the last 6 months. Well, to begin with, it was overpriced.
Yeah, it was in the
So
land
yes,
of
you'll
who knows what at one
and
point.
Redfin
Right.
and Zillow, you'll see all these price decreases,
Mhm.
but just because you're seeing those price decreases doesn't mean it's really, one, the market's crashing, and two, what the value of the home really was, because you still have those sellers that are still overlisting.
There's a lot of overlisters, and it's just it's what you naturally have happen when you come off a historic high market, which was a year ago basically now.
Almost.
But still, you know, some of these lists, especially in the luxury world, they will list their property and think, all right, well, it might take a while to sell it.
Right.
And then finally they go, well, we're not getting the bites we're looking for. So they start bringing down their price. There are price decreases, yes, because a lot of people come on the market with too high of a price.
Right.
And then I've been noticing that there's a fair amount of price decreases lately. And I think it's because they're getting the hint that you better get your price right, because your houses are selling. All your competition is selling, but you're not.
Right.
And so they're. And here's the interesting thing. This is what I've been noting on my 7-day. Every week we have more price
increases.
That's why
decreases.
Yeah.
And we're going to go over that. Another point I wanted to bring is the Zestimate. All right.
Okay.
The Zestimate is really an algorithm that Zillow or Redfin uses to get a guesstimate. It's just a guess of homes that are on the market and homes that have sold. They don't take into consideration all the upgrades that you have in your home. If you have a pool, if you have a view, the location of your home, that's why they call it a Zestimate.
It's the algorithm can pick up so much.
Yes.
It doesn't know what you've done to the house. It also doesn't pick up really well trends. So like when we were really going up,
right,
it actually took a little while for the algorithm to say, oh yeah, I see where these values are headed. And as we were going down, I noticed that they were kind of holding values a little.
They were under. Now they're under.
Now they're under. But for a while there, see, listen, Zillow was invested heavily in some homes out there, so they didn't really want to see their prices going down. I think they were artificially keeping them high for a little bit.
But now, because Zillow has a lower Zestimate than what the house is listed for, doesn't mean that's the true value of the home. I would take it with a grain of salt. If you want to learn the true value of a home, I suggest you contact a professional real estate agent to pull the comps for you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And you gotta get the most recent comps are going to be so valuable, so important. If you go back 6 months, you're not looking at the same world.
Yeah, you need at least 3 months.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to get one that sold yesterday.
Right.
You know, so that's going to really tell you what's happening.
So then I wanted to say that although Rob and I talk, and when we started this market update almost 3 years ago, it would be in August, 3 years.
Wow.
It was at the beginning or at the pandemic time.
Yeah.
And we said that surely that these prices can't remain sustainable, right? We were hoping that in 2021, and we got this wrong, that the numbers would come back to reality and be like they were in 2020, right? We were wrong with that because the market just kept on going up.
Surging.
Okay. My point is that even though that this is happening to the market, does not mean that we agree with the market and that we feel that it is still unaffordable for the average person in Las Vegas.
100%.
All right.
Yep.
But our point of being real estate agents is to report the truth of what is happening with the Las Vegas real estate market.
Yeah, and I think what we know for sure is that their volume is down. Volume of sales is down. But the thing that's holding, that's just like this concrete layer there right now, is that inventory is staying so low. And we're going to talk more about that. I mean, maybe you wouldn't be surprised if you heard us talk about last month, or if we've talked about it in between.
It's in there. Yeah.
Right. So that's holding the ledge. Even though you're not getting a ton of activity, the activity you do have is holding things up because there's not a ton of properties out there. Some of them are overpriced. Some of them are junky.
Yep.
They have tenants in them. They're non-viable inventory. So within the inventory is some inventory issues.
Exactly.
So that's holding things up. And that's the real truth of what to me, this is going to be this. As soon as we started seeing this trend, I said, this is what's going to hold Vegas strong through whatever we're going through right now onto the other side, ideally. Now, this is Vegas. This isn't going to be all over the country. So some of those doomers might be right about someplace else.
But see, the problem is that these doomers say Las Vegas real estate.
Of course.
But it's not really talking about Las Vegas and showing the true numbers of the Las Vegas real estate market. They're just predicting because of the war in Ukraine, the banks falling, all these economical issues that are happening across the nation. They're saying this is what's going to happen in Vegas or across the country, which it could, but we don't know. And because of the bank failures, the feds have reevaluated of what's going to happen with the interest rate increases.
Yeah.
I think they're taking a second look into that.
Certainly hope so.
And all of these reports are just speculations. Okay, folks.
That's what you have is a lot of speculation.
Speculations.
A lot of speculation out there.
I mean, we had COVID. People back then were saying the sky is falling, market's going to crash, blah, blah, blah. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we did the market updates.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, listen, you tell me that's happening. I'm thinking, crap.
We didn't think that it was going to just like,
blah,
blah.
But the whole, what that created, as we know, we don't need to go over this in detail, but as we know, that created a whole different sense of needs for people. Their priorities change. Everyone's priorities change.
Exactly.
And when that happened all at once, that was unprecedented. I mean, so the continued ripple effect is happening.
And the ripple effect, and I stated in my last week's video, is if we did not have COVID, honestly, because COVID created a lot of supply chain issues, because people couldn't work, they couldn't get the fixtures, they couldn't get the appliances, the windows, the doors,
and everybody wanted to move.
Everybody wanted to move. We couldn't keep up with the demand. So then what happened? Prices started increasing. Not only did it affect the housing market, it affected groceries. Remember, the shelves were empty. Still is.
Yeah.
Gas went up, that we blame that on the war of Ukraine. But all of these incidents happen, and the sky hasn't fallen, nor has the market crashed.
Yeah, and I think so. If I was to play devil's advocate here and sort of go to the other side and say, okay, I'm going to be a doomer for a minute, but I'm going to be a logical doomer. I'm going to say that right now, I don't see those things truly affecting our real estate, especially in Vegas, as badly as was concerned, as what we thought about. But they could affect things over time. Listen, you have enough economic issues.
Yes.
They pile up, and that is a concern, folks.
Yes.
I would never say, but where do I want to? This is what I would say. So I'll be the doomer and say, yes, this is possible if things keep piling up. Impossible for me or her. We're not qualified to tell you what's going to happen with the economy. What I am going to tell you we're qualified for is to tell you that Vegas, if you're going to be somewhere, you're talking about the whole country having an economic issue. You want to be somewhere where strong, stay strong. Okay. It's like living in Summerlin.
Right.
Strong, stay strong. Summerlin is going to stay strong in Las Vegas always because it is the top rated area in Las Vegas. Well, Las Vegas has become one of the top rated places for everybody to move to and want to be. So where do I want to be? I want to be in Las Vegas. I want to be invested in Las Vegas.
Wasn't there an article that came out that you shared recently that Vegas ranked number 2?
We are number 2 on the if for a survey that was done for people that want to move out of their state. Mm-hmm. We are the number 2. I think Houston might have been number 1.
So the reason I feel, unfortunately, and as I'm going to circle back to, although we don't agree to these prices, I think we're going to have to get used to them.
Yeah, look, it's not falling off a ledge, right? So I think there's potential for more softening as if they're going to hold the rates through the end of the year,
right?
Where we start traditionally having a slow market anyway.
Right.
And, if some more economic pressures come on people, certainly you could see more softening there. But I think we're going through the summer with some momentum here.
Right. And even if we gain all this momentum and then lose it and come back down, I honestly
there you go. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
I honestly think, guys, that we hit our bottom.
Yeah, it very well may be possible. If we have not, then it's going to do a little uptick and then a little softening.
Right. It'll be cyclical.
Overall, staying relatively strong, certainly compared to what people out there that are the doomers are saying.
Right.
That's very much how I feel about it.
And the reason is why we say this is month over month over month. We analyze the numbers. We tell you the truth about the numbers because the numbers do not lie. So we are analyzing the numbers as experienced and expert in our field.
Right.
Right.
Well, and a little bit anecdotally, but not so much because you're so tapped in, and I've become more and more so tapped into who is coming here.
Right.
So we know when there's a surge, we can see it. We see our activity. We see who's looking at these videos and so on. There is so much interest in this stuff. And again, Vegas, I said this a couple of years ago. Remember when I was like, if people are going to get pinched in California,
yes,
they're going to be looking to a place like Vegas.
Right.
So Vegas stands to benefit from some of this.
They still do.
Yeah, and that's what's happening, right?
And especially since we had a very cold winter, not only in Vegas, but across the country. People are like, I am tired of the snow. I'm ready to get out. People back east, back west. I mean, east, north, the north Midwest. Mm-hmm. And then also in the Seattle area, they're like, I'm done.
And you're hearing that from actual people.
Actual people.
Yeah.
These are my buyers. Okay.
Yeah.
They sell their home. The market's still pretty good where they're at. They're selling their homes, making cash money, having tons of equity, coming to Vegas and spending cash on the homes here. 90% of my clients are cash buyers.
Wow. I didn't know you had that high of a percentage.
Yes.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah.
So these are all, while it may be somewhat anecdotal to our experiences, I got to tell you, I think it's a little bit broader net than most people would have in this business. And I think that's important to note that we're not just BSing and guessing.
Yeah, we're not BSing and guessing.
That's why we point to the numbers. That's why we point to certainly our experiences and what we're seeing.
Oh, and that's why we're very passionate about it.
Yeah, and that's why, exactly. Let's talk about being passionate, what is controversial. That's why when we see people that are, out there not even making money in this business, never have really, and they are gonna, and I'm not trying to punch low here or punch down or anything. I'm just being honest. Again, I can't even watch some of these people's videos. I know she just told me the other day she eyeballs these videos and I'm like, what are you doing? I can't even.
Well, because they come to my channel and give me, they give me controversy. So I'm like, okay, what's going on? So then I watch this person's videos and then I comment on the videos.
Yes.
And then I am like, well, wait a minute. This person had 0 sales this year. This person had 6 sales last year. Is this really an expert in the real estate business of Las Vegas? Yeah.
And so I mean, I have to pay attention enough to know what's happening and what people are saying. So yeah, I begrudgingly, I have to peek at some things. But here's what I notice. When the message is the same BS over and over and over again,
that's clickbait message.
That's when I'm pulling the pin. I'm out, man, Yeah. And even some people that I have followed along with that I thought were pretty sharp, their thumbnail is the same. They're just they're like going to the well over and over and over again, saying the same thing. And this is somebody that's more of a national person.
Yes.
That I know. And I'm just like, I'm bored of you, man. You got nothing new. You're not telling, I guess if I really listen into what he's saying, maybe there's this point or that point, but it's a whole lot of like yes. And
Graham Stevens. Is that who you follow?
No, Graham is okay. Graham.
But he was saying that Anyway, we're not going to get into that.
Yeah, I mean, some of these people hedge their bet well.
Right.
And he's somebody that I think says, hey, look, guys, there's these issues, but also, hey, there's these positives. So he kind of is able to be a little bit more real. There's some of these people that have just been predicting that, hey, as I told you 2 years ago, here it comes.
And the only reason why we're here, and Rob has been saying this from the beginning, is because of the interest rate increases. That is the only reason.
So until there are other factors that are starting to press down. Now, listen, the jobs report came out last this is another thing. The jobs report came out and it was overwhelmingly good, which again, surprising me. I'm sure a lot of people that we have these numbers that are still being supported in the job market. Now they keep going back a month and revising them lower. So there's some BS going on there for sure. But nonetheless, even with the revisions, it's still on the plus side. And it's, look, Vegas is attracting, people ask me, I'm sure they ask you, well, it's just got one industry out there, what's
well, only 30% of the people that work here in Las Vegas are in that industry.
Yeah, so exactly. And it's changed so much. So there's not just casino industry. There's a whole lot of
people working from home.
There's a whole lot of people working from home, a whole lot of tech. There's even manufacturing that is growing out here.
Mm-hmm.
A number of, I'm forgetting a couple of the big ones that have grown big out here. But this tells me that we have, it's like, what do you want to do with your investment? You want to diversify. Well, we have diversified our ability to support an economy in Las Vegas. And that means jobs. That means different places where you get your jobs. So
with that said, I have written out all the builder incentives, but I have a feeling this market update is going to be longer. So I think Rob and I need to next week go live.
You want to do the builder then? I got stuff to add to the builder stuff too lately.
We'll,
so that's cool.
We'll kind of tweak. We'll say something about the builders, but we won't go over the incentives and all this. Yeah. So I think, anyway, we need to get going.
You're going to be surprised, folks.
Yes. But we need to get going with the market update so we can at least try to stay within an hour.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it's already 20 minutes.
Speaking of BS, and sorry, folks.
And we'll read these comments in a minute.
Hey, so we sometimes we just have to like use this as therapy and just vomit stuff on everybody. So, but we got some. Oh boy.
Well, we'll go over in a minute. Let's get some of these numbers out here so it can prove our point.
Yeah.
All right, guys. All right, here we go.
Here we go.
All right. So this was a shocking number. There were 1,962 single family homes that closed last month, which was down 16.9% from the prior month and down 34.6% from the prior year, because for the last 2 months in a row, we saw an increase. However, there is a correlation as to why we had less closings last month compared to March.
Okay.
We're going to go over that.
All right.
But drum roll, Rob. The median price went from $425,000 to $430,000. It increased by $5,000, which is up 1.2% from the prior month, and obviously 9.5% down from the prior year. So, folks, when we did our market update last month, relatively speaking, the median price had remained $425.
It went up $5.
It went up $5. It went down $5. Okay. From December 2022 to March of 2023, it relatively stayed at $425,000. Mm-hmm. All right. This month, we saw an increase of $5,000. And yes, you can attest it to the traditional spring selling season.
100%.
And I think we could have had better numbers if we had more inventory.
Yeah.
Okay.
The inventory has definitely held people back from being able to buy.
Right. So I always like to analyze the numbers. All right. April of 2022, the median price was at $475. All right. We didn't hit the peak until May of 2022 at $482.
Yeah.
All right. So in April of 2021, the median price was $375. And in April of 2020, the median price was $310. As you can see, we're nowhere near April 2021 or 2020 numbers.
Certainly not 2020. Yeah.
Right. So as you can see, from April 2022 to April 2021, we gained $100,000 in median price. From April 2022 to April 2023, we only lost $45,000 in median price, right? So again, I said we hit the peak in May of 2022 at $482,000, which is only now a $52,000 loss from the peak, right? And then I predict when we get May of 2023 numbers, the difference between May of 2022 and May of 2023 is going to be under $50,000.
Okay.
That's my prediction. There's room to go, and I highly doubt that we will ever hit 2021 numbers ever back again.
Yeah, it would take quite some other things entering into the scenario here. Certainly not interest rates would either have to get really high, or which I just don't think that's happening.
No, because we saw the cause and effect of what happened.
It's not just the real estate market, right?
It's not.
I mean, speaking of real estate market, where if I was concerned, I'd be concerned in commercial.
Right.
Okay. I'm not a commercial. I don't work in commercial all the time, but I know enough about it to see there's some concerns there. But that is directly tied to businesses and things like that. And so now, I got a little off track there.
That's okay.
Yeah, but anyway, what the hell was I saying? I'm sorry.
Commercial is going to take.
So I think commercial has an issue, whereas residential is actually looking strong, and certainly it would take some real bulldozer effect to start bringing us down to April 2021.
Right.
Which for a little while we were honest. We said, hey, look, if the market's if there's a lot of equity being grabbed back, well, if we land back on April 2021 numbers, I think we had that talk. It was like, well, this will be good for some people,
Right. And just because the numbers are decreasing doesn't really, to me, call it a crash. It's coming back to reality, right?
Yeah, it was a bubble. There was a bubble, right? And it was then a correction off of that bubble.
It's a correction.
Yeah.
That's a better term to use. That this is a correction, and we welcome corrections and we welcome stability.
That's absolutely, because even during these times that we saw this market going bananas, I think we both agreed that, geez, how much more can we?
And you can watch all our previous videos. I'm like, this is crazy. It's so unaffordable to the average person. And I wholeheartedly agree. But the problem is that people are selling from states that houses are twice the amount here, and they're making good money and paying cash. And that's the number. I mean, not number one, but a good reason why our prices kept on going up was because of the demand.
We're still a deal compared to the
other locations.
Absolutely.
Okay. So we're going to go over median price for condos and townhomes. So the median price for condos went from $260,000 in March to $270,000 in April. They had a $10,000 increase, which put them at 3.8%. And then they still were down 1.8% from the prior year. So that's pretty huge to have a $10,000 increase in median price for condos and townhomes.
It just tells you that there's that demand for people to be homeowners, and they've all decided that, okay, well, this is the affordable price range I can live with these higher interest rates.
Right.
So, and with low inventory, by the way, what we should talk really quick is 11% down from the month prior.
Yeah, they only have 535.
I'm sorry, that's number of closings. But our inventory,
their inventory
I think inventory
964.
It went down 4%. Sorry.
Yeah.
So it
no, availability is 964. So it went down 12%.
Oh, okay.
12.6%.
I knew it was a significant number. Sorry.
Yeah.
I did review this stuff, folks. It's a little on our screen right now, so my old eyes aren't.
That's why I wear these glasses.
Yeah, smart.
All right, so that's that. So then I always did an analysis of April 2022. The median price for condos was at $275. April 2021, that was $202,450, and April 2020 it was $182,250. So really, April 2022, the median price for condos was $275. We're at $270. We're only $5,000 off there.
Yeah.
That's not a lot.
Yeah.
All right. Next, we're going to get into the luxury market. And last month, there were a total of 109 luxury homes that were over $1 million. And compared to March's 112, which is only 3 home difference. And the median price decreased to 1.375 in April, and in March it was 1.378. Sorry. So that's only a $3,000 difference. So there's not much difference in the luxury market.
I am noticing first of all, it's a relatively stable, territory, and even the median sales price area. I do see that this is, speaking of those people coming from out of state and selling a $2.5 million house, and then they're coming here and they want to be in that 1.3 area.
Yes.
That's where a lot of them are looking, and that is an affordable area for a lot of those folks. And so when you're only talking about, let's see, for 109 sales, you're getting what, 200 people looking a month, and 100 of them are going into under contract, roughly, whatever. There's more than that out.
Right.
Certainly there's more than that, because a lot of these people will wait on the sidelines for a long time until they see something that really works.
Yeah, exactly. So then that brings us to the number of new listings we had. Last month, we had a total of 2,451 new listings on the market, which was down 4.4% from the prior month and down 33.2% from the prior year. So here we go, folks. All right. There's hardly any new listings, and the number availability of listings is low. So that's why I think our sales were low, because we didn't have enough homes. And the homes that are on the market are those lousy ones if they're priced too high, need upgrading, renters, etc. So the shocking news is the number of homes, this is all single family homes, that are on the market that did not have offers until all the way through end of April was 3,737, which is down 10.9% from the prior month, but still up 53.1% from the prior year, because obviously
it was extremely low.
It was extremely low at that time. So I also want to bring up a point that in April of 2022, because the market was hot, we had roughly over 3,600 new listings. That's 1,200 more new listings last year than we did this year.
They were just getting vacuum cleanered up.
Yeah.
So it was like as soon as they hit, they would just rip right off.
So I wanted to bring points. I said that this is telling me a few things. So let's analyze these numbers, folks. All right. One, it's telling me the sellers are not out to play.
Not in big numbers.
They have low interest rates on their homes and do not need to sell, or they bought their home recently with a lower interest rate, or they just recently financed when all the interest rates
certainly
were
the
low.
refinances are big.
Yes, exactly. The sellers that I'm seeing that actually have to sell, my sellers have to move out of state, or they had an emergency and they can't stay in the home, which they have to move out of state.
There's always people selling.
Yeah.
There's always going to be some reason.
But for the most part, the sellers that are on the market aren't selling just to sell, I think. And some of them are to see what they can get, but not like last year where people were trying to sell and it was getting gobbled
It's not
up.
the bonanza time, but I will tell you, and I am noticing this in my 7-day, there are some increases. They're not huge, but the sellers that do want to sell, and this has been my message, are realizing I'm not in such a handcuffed state as now, because the inventory is allowing me, as long as I'm reasonable with my price, I probably won't have to pay. I may not have to pay those closing costs, and might not have to, now listen, if you want to get that top dollar that just says, hey neighbor, look what I got, you might have to throw some stuff in the basket.
But guess what we're seeing again? I'm seeing multiple offers.
Oh, I've been seeing, if it's reasonable,
every
month
priced,
I've seen
multiple offers. I'm seeing in the MLS, highest and best, produce your highest and best offer. So all those homes that are priced accordingly, that are in nice locations, or upgraded or move-in ready, they're getting multiple offers. Now, that doesn't mean that as a buyer here in Vegas, that you still cannot get a deal. There are still homes that have been on the market over 30 days or more. Obviously, that's when I would pounce on them and ask for the world, like closing costs and lower the price. It's all about the right negotiations. But we are seeing, because of the seasonal market, that multiple offers are coming back.
If it's well priced in an awesome house in a great area.
So guess what's happening now? With the low resale inventory, guess where buyers are going?
Yeah. And the builders know it.
New construction. And we're going to get into that next. Okay. Let's just try to get through this, and then we'll start answering questions. Okay. So then
stick around if you have comments on there.
All right. So let's
and put more if you want.
Yes. So then that brings us to the months of supply. Last month it was at 1.8. It increased to 1.9 months of inventory now, which puts us up, which is kind of interesting, in number 7.2%, because it only increased by 0.1 point.
Yeah.
But it's up 134.2% from the prior year, because we were at 0.8 months of inventory last year.
Listen, like we know we have low buyer activity overall, and this is a traditionally time for sellers to put their houses on the market, but it's definitely not clicking up the number big time. I will tell you though, in the 7-day, what I'm noticing is, okay, let's just round that up to 2, and we got I've got, in my 7-day, there was about 850 some properties that's closed and sold
for that week.
So that's more than 100 a day going by. If you rounded that up to 2 and said, okay, 60 days, let's divide it by 60 days, or you could do it by 30 days. It doesn't matter. Let's do it by 30 days. It's over 100 properties a day that are coming off the market, and that inventory is getting chewed up.
Yeah.
So that we need more.
Yes.
Even though we clicked up one little tick, we need more.
Yeah.
That's what I'm seeing.
This is good news, is that homes are on the market for 53.6% of the homes are on the market 30 days or less. Last month, that number was 49.6%. And the year before, obviously, we knew things were getting gobbled up the moment it was listed at 87.2%. So what that's telling me is that homes are ticking up. But the problem is that we don't have enough inventory to support the demand. So since they can't do that, then they're going to the new construction.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've seen it with my buyers several times where we've even started. It's the opposite of what I've done in the past a lot of times, which a lot of times we'll start at the new home, and then it's like, hey, let's check out a resale. And sometimes they decide to move over to resale. Sometimes they stay with the new home. This time it's been more like, oh yeah, I want a resale. Oh, there's nothing here. Yeah. What do we have in the new homes? So that's what has happened with a couple.
And let me tell you what, folks, there's new home communities coming left and right. There's a new one in Summerlin by TriPoint Homes.
Okay.
Called Tempo. And guess where it's going to be? The Cliffs Village.
Ah, nice. I should know that.
It's brand new. It won't come around until like the end of July this year. And they're going to have 3 floor plans. I have it on my website. I'm going to be doing a video on it. But, we love TriPoint Homes.
Yeah.
TriPoint's opening like 9 new communities this year. So, that's telling me Lennar's opening these new communities. It's just so much information out there.
Yeah, the builders are sensing that they can keep their construction crews busy and keep building properties, and Vegas has a lot of pent up demand. If the rates start sliding back the other way, you're going to really see some movement here.
Well, okay, there's a catch-22, but let's get into interest rates, and then we'll go into looks like builders real quick. So I wanted to mention that last week, the average 30-year fixed home loan rate was at 6.43%. Obviously, last week was 6.39%. However, the average a year ago was at 5.10. But listen to this. The 30-year fixed rate mortgage increased modestly for the second straight week, but with the rate of inflation decelerating, rates should gently decline over the course of 2023 per Sam. Can you say that last name? Cater? Yeah. Freddie Mac's chief economist said in a news release. He also said that incoming data suggests the housing market has stabilized from a sales and house price perspective. The prospect of lower mortgage rates for the remainder of the year should be welcome news to borrowers who are looking to purchase a home.
This is what I'm saying. There's pent-up demand that I believe that as soon as they start kicking back rates, it's going to be like, yeah, we're in. Some people might wait for maybe the second round of rate decreases or something, but I just know.
But see, once the rate decreases, what's going to happen, folks?
Price, yeah. Well, we will see. Maybe we get look in a healthy market. We'll have enough inventory. There'll be a little bit of seller competition out there, right? So maybe we'll get into that. That would be ideal. And sellers will still be happy because they're going to sell their homes eventually. It's not going to be like you
Well,
can't.
gone are the days for sellers to make $500,000 above what they paid for it a year ago.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, that's ridiculous.
It's unrealistic, right? But let's get to questions, and then if we have time, briefly go over what we're seeing in new construction.
Okie doke.
Okay. So basically, Tracy, hi Tracy, how are you doing?
Oceanside.
Darn, I had heard last week sellers were offering to pay closing costs.
Well, you only heard that last week. They were offering to pay closing costs for months.
And doesn't mean they still aren't.
That's true. That some of them aren't. If you're looking at a property that's well priced,
right,
and it's a great area, great property, like we said, some of those are not going to be ones you can play around.
Now, if it's been on the market for a day or two, has lots of showings, it's priced
you got to be
accordingly.
Yeah.
Then the only time I like really suggest is if it's been sitting on the market for like over 2 weeks or whatever. That's when we can start saying, hey, you know what? Let's ask for some seller concessions.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it's been on the market for over 30 days, that's when we like really like scaffold it and be aggressive. That's when I'm really aggressive with the asking price and the closing costs.
There's a little texture, dynamic, and detail to the market, you know.
Right.
So,
and obviously you need an experienced agent that knows how to negotiate.
You better.
That's had some deals and not zero.
No time, right? No time worse to rely on an agent that is not really experienced. That's just I wouldn't do. I mean, I wouldn't get near an agent that doesn't know what they're doing right now.
Right. And then you want to read what James.
Yeah, so James, thanks for the comment. James says, sounds to me like you're just trying to get people to buy and sell in an arguably volatile market, which is to say that you represent realtors' point of view and not consumers. But thank you. Well, thank you for saying thank you. But I'm going to just jump right in right here and say, number one thing that I would always do, and I think Andrew would feel the same way, because we always want to do the right thing for our client. We're going to help you figure out if this is a good time for you to buy. Not for everybody will it be, okay? Yeah. So that's number one. I'm not going to try to force a square peg in a round hole here and get somebody into financial trouble by having them buy a house that they can't afford. That's ridiculous, okay? So first of all, you should be in a position to afford your home that you're buying. Second of all, we're not getting anybody to buy into a volatile market. You know who is? The government right now, because they're out there putting together programs that are saying, hey, we're gonna ding the person who's had great stellar credit, and we're gonna help the person who doesn't have great stellar credit. That's terrible. That's volatile. That's enticing people that are on the cusp to get involved in a market that doesn't make sense for them right now. That's enticing people.
And plus, James, how is going over the facts, going over the numbers, trying to get people to buy? We're just telling you the truth and tell it like it is, right?
Well, yeah, I think, I don't think we're trying to get people to buy at all. We're just telling you the scenario.
You take it with a grain of salt. However, the point of our videos is to really what is really going on with the real estate market and not sugarcoat it and not entice fear into people that the sky is falling. Yes, there are things happening with the economy. We understand that, right? We're just telling you what's happening.
Yeah, my only sense of urgency is for sellers right now. I feel like if you're a seller, you're, hop in the driver's seat. You're not in a bad position anymore. That's where if you're considering selling and it's something that was like on your mind, this might be the time for you. If not, we don't know what the future holds, of course, but right now we know what's happening.
Not once in this video have we said you need to buy now.
Yeah, no, I think this is very much specific to you as a person and your financial situation.
Right.
I want to see that you have some reserves. I think you should have at least 6 months to a year of reserves after buying the home.
Right.
That would be really, really the most beneficial way. I just sold one of my lifelong friends a house. It's a very special moment for me to be involved with him. But if he didn't have the situation that he had, I would have said, dude, now's not the time for you. Maybe you need to hold off, because he had the reserves. He was ready to do this, and it's something he was excited about. He got a great deal. Ultimately, we found him the house that he needed. That's the situation you need to be in.
Exactly. And I have a lot of clients, and if they're not ready, I'm not going to push them into buying. I'm here for the long haul.
That's like bleeding water from a rock.
I'm here for the long haul, and I believe in good karma. Okay, folks. And I'll be with them every step of the way. And when they're ready, I've been there for them.
And that's, you're making probably the best point possible. Like, look, we're not that old, okay? We're working in this business for a while, okay? What matters to us is that in 5, 10, however long you're in that home, that we made the best decisions possible at the time of you getting involved in that purchase, okay? Or selling or whatever you're doing, that we made good decisions. It doesn't mean we can be perfect or predict the future. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about making good decisions within the moment.
Yep.
And that's all anybody wants from us, really. They want that kind of guidance.
They want our advice and our knowledge.
Yep.
And we can tell you how it is. And that's the type of person I am. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm going to tell you like it is. And then you make your decision.
Ange will not sugarcoat it. I can assure you. I can assure you that. I think that we're both pretty adept at giving our opinions, and also, not crushing you.
Exactly.
With our opinions either.
Right, exactly. Yes, commercial is a problem, but commercial is itself tied to what will be happening to those involved in non-commercial real estate. We don't yet know how hard the job market will be hit. We don't know anything.
Absolutely.
That's the operative word. We don't know.
We don't know. I do think commercial has an issue, but I don't like, this is related to people not working in commercial properties as much anymore. They're not going to work as much anymore, right? So some of these properties are not as useful or needed anymore.
Well, online, people are buying a lot of this online.
Yeah, they're working from home. They're you don't need to fill your office up with people. They're starting to go.
I buy all my furniture from Wayfair.
Yeah. And there's a deeper thing within the commercial. It's how commercial is purchased. Okay, it's done on 3 and 5 and slightly longer terms, and those are basically like they change the rates change. So when they get hit with these new rates, they're either going to have to renegotiate or they're going to have to deal with less return on their investment. So this is where there are people that have invested in commercial that might be in trouble. It's so different than residential. It really is. Of course, all of this can have its effect, but not alone. Okay,
right.
That's my point. Not alone.
It's a domino effect, and we understand that. All right. So Jane SN said, "Hi, Angela. In a recent video, you mentioned some new communities like Alpine Ridge, Talus, and Nighthawk have waiting lists. Why do you think these communities are selling so well compared to the others?" Location
big.
Location.
I think the waiting lists also have to do with.
All right. So with KB in general, because it's a new community, they only release 4 lots, right? They sell those 4 lots, and then we got a lot of people that want to be in Nighthawk over there in Summerlin, right? But since they only release 4 lots a month, then that builds the wait list.
Yep.
Correct. And so what happens is that because they're not producing fast enough to support the people that want to live in that community.
This is what we said would happen, folks. If you watch our updates from the past, especially like November, December, even earlier, we were telling you that the builders were doing all this and they're trying to liquidate some of their stuff, and they're going to get back to what's called build on demand.
Yep.
That's where they're at, a lot of them, especially the popular areas like you pointed out. So if it's in a great location, it's maybe the price range too, because maybe KB.
We started for Summerlin KB price point's pretty good. Can I see that paper?
Yeah, you need some
hot flashes.
Watch that pen! Don't fling that pen on you.
Hot flashes. Obviously Summerlin's going to start a little more reasonable. Where Kyle Canyon is, it's going to start a lot lower. Summerlin is all. If you buy outside of Summerlin, it's usually 100 to 200,000 cheaper. Now, the Kyle Point by TriPoint Homes, everybody loves TriPoint Homes. They opened on April 22nd. They released 2 phases, 8 lots. They sold out that day. All right. Then they're going to release another 4 lots in May. They already have a wait list for it. And so, as Rob is saying,
building
on demand.
And here's what I've been noticing. and we'll go over this more when we do
Yeah.
our full
Yeah.
one. This is pretty wild because the builders are basically, hey, we're going to build on this site. They just get their model homes going, and I'm getting calls for, hey, Rob, can you show me this neighborhood? Can we buy in this early before they've even finished it?
Right.
Yeah, and then so what we do is we send them. I will go and check out where the builder has that same exact model somewhere else, and they go, yeah, I love this, but it's going to be over there. Okay, let's get it on.
Well,
and so they're buying them before they even.
Well, that's what happened with the TriPoint community, Alpine Ridge, is that they had a VIP list, and those people were on it before it opened. So those people had first opportunity to take advantage of choosing their lots. And I highly recommend, if you're going to buy new construction in a new build community, to buy the beginning phases than rather the end, because of course, as through each phase, they're going to start increasing the prices.
Yep.
So Rob is exactly right. So before the community even opens, they have forming interest lists. And with those interest lists, you get pre-approved with their lender. Then they can give you the go-ahead, and you have first rights to make choose of the lot. Okay. And so Toll Brothers is well known for opening their communities before the model homes are even open.
Yeah, because people will be crawling on their build while they're building the, crawling in there.
Right. So the point of the matter is that this Freddie Mac's chief economist, economist, stating that they see stability in the market. So if I were, because these doomers will pull up clips from Redfin CEO and this and that and this and that to make their point valid, but purely, as they say, they speculate is the terminology that they use. And that's just pure speculation, because no one can predict what is going to happen. Yes, we can see the writing on the wall, but we've been seeing the writing on the wall since COVID.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You knew change was coming, and boy, it's been a roller coaster.
Yeah. It's up and down. No one can predict what's going on.
I think the best advice anybody can take and give right now is that make sure that whatever you're doing with real estate, that you're putting yourself in a position that you can handle whatever comes at you. Okay. Right. And that's what the buyers that I work with, and I know the ones that you've worked with, they're not worried about it, because that's exactly what they've already thought through. They said, this is the move I have to make. So I'm going to make that move knowing that I've put myself in a comfortable position. Generally speaking, it'd be pretty earth shattering for me to get shaken off my trail here. Right.
You want to read that?
Which one? This one or
Pierre.
But yeah, thanks, James. I'll just say, he says true what you say about the government. I appreciate you being reasonable with your responses as well, even though we didn't completely agree with you on your first. But anyway, Pierre Urbane, I'm not sure if I'm saying your name. It is not the real. This is a great point. It is not the realtor's responsibility to tell you to sell or buy. They help you find or sell your property. That's it. Truly. I mean, listen, people come to us sometimes like we're therapists, and we can help. But we're not going to want to make your decision for you. Exactly. And I have been in so many times where I'm staring at this amazing opportunity for somebody, and I'm like, you need to do this, but I can't. And they'll look back and they'll go, Rob, man, I should have bought everything up in 2012. And I'm like, yeah.
I mean, we can only advise, and we are therapists.
Yeah.
We listen. We tell our thoughts, our experiences, what's going on, and only advise. We can't put a gun to your head and tell you to buy. We can't put a gun to your head and tell you to sell.
No.
Right?
It's just not even near our style either. We really just want you to
We're
be happy.
hippies, man.
We want you to be happy.
We believe in karma. We believe in good juju.
And I believe that to do that right, you do whatever it takes.
Right.
So if your search ends up taking a while, and we show a lot of, sometimes we get it done one, bam, we just knew right away.
Prime example, and my assistant can attest to this. I started doing real estate, doing open houses, right? My bread and butter, every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, Angela was out there doing open houses. And that's how I got my leads before I knew the whole world of YouTube, right? But I was grinding it. I have leads that I followed up consistently since 2016, 2017. I've given them now to my assistant. She's closed on 3 deals from leads that I had followed up, never pressured, but just kept in contact with.
Yep.
And they appreciated that I stuck with them for 5-6 years.
People really do appreciate that. No doubt about it.
Right.
Yeah.
And Tracy, he's a client of mine. I've never forced him. He's always asked what's up. I've given him my honest opinion, what's going on.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. Realtors aren't here to tell you. We're here to advise you.
Yeah. Selling is not telling.
Yep.
I mean, sometimes I say that phrase though.
We're not BSing and guessing. I finally remembered that.
Yeah.
So Claudio says, thoughts on Sky Canyon, Casino, Costco, and new retail developments coming in 2023 and 2024.
My goodness. Yeah.
I don't know much about it.
Well, I don't know specifically what he's talking about.
Yeah.
But you know about Sky Canyon. So
Sky Canyon, obviously, I really honestly don't know about those retail developments. However, there is the new Kyle Canyon Gateway. Have you heard of that?
not yet.
So where that KB Talus is located, which is the Kyle Canyon, and then you have that TriPoint, which is Kyle Point, and Kyle Point by TriPoint is a new master plan, no SIDS, no lids, that will have 6 different neighborhoods in Kyle Point. So that Kyle Canyon Gateway is kind of like how the Summerlin Core is going to be right there. It's a gateway where they're going to have all this kind of shopping. It spreads out, and then it's going to go straight to Kyle Canyon and to Mount Charleston.
Nice.
This development has been on the map since 2007, folks.
Yeah. So it got derailed.
It got derailed. Well, 2007. Yeah. And so now it's finally coming back into fruition.
A lot of projects
in 2023. Like so FYI, I have it on my website, Kyle Canyon Gateway neighborhood, and I have Kyle Point in my website. You know, all the new neighborhoods. If you want to learn more about it, I'm like shout out to my website.
Well, I have to, just going off of the, what's building here. I'm going to do 2 different videos that I think are pretty, going to be pretty eye-opening for people. Number 1 is going to be why all the things that California is doing to get people out here. So there's going to be a slew of stuff I'm going to be going over. You might be surprised to see the list that I put together of all the stuff that I think is driving people out of California to Las Vegas, but also all the things. The next one would be what's happening in Vegas, what's being built, all the stuff on the map.
What's going on? What was announced a couple weeks ago that you were doing some Instagram reels and shit. Shoot.
Oh, the A's, the A's are coming to town, right? So it looks like that deal is happening with the Oakland A's will be the Las Vegas A's.
So then we have not only that, we have the Raiders,
of course,
the Golden Knights
in the Stanley Cup playoffs. That's why
we
I'm going
have
my playoff
the WNBA pro team here, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, Vegas for years never
Desert
had
Dogs, lacrosse. We got V has hockey, has basketball, has baseball. Right. I mean,
we didn't have all this pro sports.
No.
What? When did 2021 is when it all finally came? No, Golden Knights was 2018.
2017, really.
2017, yes.
And then things started picking
exploding.
up. Exploding. Yeah,
exploding.
Yeah. Not imploding. Thankfully.
Exploding. Yes.
But yes, we've had a whole bunch in that, Terry. And here's the thing. There's a couple of projects that, we got the Sphere.
The Sphere, yeah. There's a new casino that was opening up.
There's so much. There is so much. And I'm going to tell you the one thing that I think could be one of the biggest out there is that legitimately it looks like that railway is getting done.
Yes. Now, when that comes into fruition,
boy, that is just the gateway out.
People are going to be living in Vegas and working in California.
Just the zoomer over to Vegas. That may be the only reason why it doesn't get done is because California and those people and their politicians go, wait a minute, people are going to use this to get out of our state.
Right. So we're going to wrap it up. We are going to do a live video next week on all the new builder incentives. But what I want to go over is what I saw on one of these doomers things. Of course, I shouldn't be watching these things. But this person was pointing out why there was so much standing inventory, quick move-in homes, etc. So I wanted to give a brief history of why we have quick move-in homes and standing inventory homes. Okay. So back in end of 2021, the market was crazy. We knew that 2022 was going to be even busier. So the builders, especially Toll Brothers, started doing what's called quick move-in homes, because one thing, Toll Brothers home takes over a year to build, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they started doing these. Pulte started doing it. Century Community started doing it. Taylor Morrison started doing it. These quick move-in homes to build up for a beefier spring season so that they can sell on demand all this move-in inventory homes. Okay. So then in June of 2023, obviously the interest rates started increasing in May, and then interest rates started increasing, and then we saw a decline in everything, right? We saw declining in new construction sales, especially, right? So then these builders, because of the high interest rate increases, lost a lot of contracts. Okay. Some people couldn't afford now because it took a friggin' year to build. Now the interest rate's at 6%. What are you telling me? This is before the builders started doing those incentives, right?
Yeah.
So you had a lot of people fall out of these contracts because they couldn't afford it anymore.
Didn't make sense.
Right? Didn't make sense. So now what happened was, and this is what I was doing starting in September, October of last year at the market updates. What was I saying?
Yeah. Incentives like crazy.
Incentives like crazy. It was such a great time to buy new construction. It would be foolish not to take advantage of all these new construction.
You were in the market. You needed to jump on it.
Jump on it, right? They were discounting like crazy. They were giving you closing costs. Plus, they were offering 2.99% interest rates. They were doing 3-to-1 buy downs, 2-to-1 buy downs, etc. That's why we had such an abundance of inventory. So now what's happening, why we still have residual inventory or quick move-in inventory, is because now these builders want to close out in these communities so then they can start in new communities, and then the new communities is where you're seeing the wait list. So for me, it makes sense to buy, if you're going to buy new construction, the ones that still have these residual standing inventory homes where you can still get a phenomenal deal from them, and there are still incentives. Not as well as they were in the past. But
very recent
there's
past,
recent past. So when I went to Castellana, and I said this in my last week's video, I said, is there a way we can negotiate? Because they're almost closing out in that community. And she goes, well, they've had an uptick in sales. They're not negotiating like they were months ago. And guess what? Not only are the new builds that have the lot releases, the homes are having price increases of the standing inventory. So
they're seeing it. I mean, you go out to a new builder right now, it's not like it's a ghost town.
Right. So I've been saying this for months, and people thought I was crazy. Right. I got a lot of nasty comments.
Even when you first were bringing up some of these incentives, I said to you, I said, I've never seen the builders do this. I never saw them do this. Listen, they were doing it for a reason. They won big in the last 2 years.
Right.
So they said, okay, let's get our year-end numbers. Let's go ahead and do what we can because we have some house money to play with.
Right.
So to speak. And they did that. And now they're on the other side of that. And they're where that we said they would go, which is to getting back to build on demand.
So I do want to bring a point. A lot of these standing inventory homes are on the MLS. So what is that telling you? Actually, that inflates our resale homes. It's actually a lower number than what it really is. Because of this.
Because something's putting on the MLS when it's really should be just in a new home.
Right. But for them to get it advertised and more people to look at it, they're putting it on the MLS. And
they've always been there, but when in the last couple of years they didn't bother because they would just they didn't need to.
Yeah, exactly. So point of the matter of I knew this was going to be a very controversial video, and that Rob and I, to summarize everything, is that we are here to report the facts of what is really happening with the Las Vegas real estate market. We're not here to really predict. We can't. Oh, we need to go over who won.
Oh yeah,
real quick. Anyway,
I got to tell everybody about something real quick. I have if you haven't been to Calico Basin, oh my God, this area is beautiful. I have a pocket listing in Calico Basin.
Nice.
Modern, built in 2020, unbelievable home. But I need real serious buyers only for this one. This is an opportunity for a secluded, unbelievable. I mean, if you haven't been to Calico Basin, this is unreal out there. So
right. The point of the matter is that
get out.
We're not here to predict the future. We can only speculate. We're not speculating. We're just guessing, like based off of the data for the last 6 months, what's happening with the real estate market and what we're seeing as real estate agents, boots on the ground. So this is going to tie into our bets, right? So last month for median price, Rob said that we would only have a 950 increase, right? So 2 months ago, what was I saying? I've been saying increase, right?
Yeah.
Everyone thought I was crazy. Angela, what? Why are you saying increase? Are you crazy? All right. So
I should have prices righted you the other way.
Yeah.
Damn it.
I said 1,000 and it was a 5,000 increase. So I won that.
Yeah.
All right. Without offers, Rob said 4,100. I said 3,800 and it was actually 3,737. So who won that?
Yeah, you got it. She's on a roll, folks.
This is 6 months in a row.
I think so.
And then months of supply, you're closer. You said 1.8 months. I said 1.6 because I was adjusting to the actual number of inventory.
Yeah.
It was at 1.9. So Rob won that one.
Well, that we did have some strange thing. I mean, with the inventory actually ticking up a little bit.
That was odd though, because even though it went down, it was odd that the months of supply ticked up. So I don't understand that quite how that happened.
I just see a lot of hangover with these junky properties. That's
yeah. All right. So with that said, let's see if there's any more questions and then we'll do our bets and call it a day. Nope. Good. All right. So I think you went first last time. I'm going to go first this time.
Okay.
I'm going to say that, May has been very busy. I have 5 closings this month, and that's from April. I'm going to say, and it is like, they say that the best time to list your home is like there's a week in April that was the best time to list your home. So if everyone listened to that on Zillow, which I know a lot of you follow Zillow, I'm going to say 7,500 increase.
Wow. Okay. I just got to go below you on this one. And I'm glad you went a little chunky. I'll just say 5.
Well, we had a 5,000.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be more than April's numbers because of the selling season.
You might be right. So I'm just going to go below you. Just to, I wonder if I should just go 7,100 or something. Let me just go right below you.
Even if you do 5,000. Well, okay. So if it was 7,000.
7,000. Just put me right against you. Because that watch it be 7,259, and then you'll win. All
right. So without offers.
Without offers, we were at. Okay, so boy, I think I want to. I'm gonna. Geez, that's a tough number to pick here. All right, I'm gonna say 3,700.
Okay. All right, so 3,700. I said 3,737, or I said 3,800 last month, and it was actually 3,737. If we did get more listings, and have you been analyzing that number when you do your monthly?
Yeah,
it does seem to be more listings every week.
There's been an uptick lately, but I don't know that it's been enough.
So I think if we get an uptick of listings, but then that will help the uptick in sales. So it's going to squash that number.
Yeah, wash it out.
Wash it out. I'm going to. I'm going to go 3,500.
Oh, wow. Real big drop.
It's only like 200 from what it was. But I need to be a little further away from what you're saying.
I was hoping to pick a number that would make it hard for you. You don't want to go above 3,700, but you want to go below. But how much?
Right. All right. So months of supply. So I'm going to tie this all together. Since I say that we're going to have 7,500 increase in sales for the month of May with only 3,500 homes on the market, then that means that I'm going to adjust my months of supply, and I'm going to say what I said last month at 1.6. I'm going to keep it at that.
Okay. Then I'll just keep mine at 1.7.
And call it a day.
I think it will be above that.
All righty. This is the time to get any questions in if you feel like we're wrong or if you want to debate us, because you know what, folks? I can debate you all day long. I had someone on my comment that was going, on my last video, I was going back and forth. Because when you're passionate about something and you are passionate about it, and I don't think that we are wrong. Do you?
Well, no. I don't think we're wrong. No, but I also am very aware of my own ego getting in the way of like wanting to be right. So
right,
I'll listen and hear what people have to say, and if I think that they have a point about something, I'm gonna give them their kudos.
Right, totally. but if they are, I think with the people that watch the doomers are those type of people that believe in it, and since we don't conform to those beliefs, they saying some bad stuff.
Yeah, of course. I mean, listen, there's the bulk of people out there with this, it seems like have this thought, and they're all in this. YouTube is a great place to go and see a lot of what's your daily crisis gonna be,
right?
And so that's what I see out there.
Negative clickbait gets more views and clicks than my simple thumbnails or simple titles.
Absolutely, 100%. If you were like, hey, the Vegas market is doing great and here's why, no views. If you're
because we're saying what people don't want to believe.
Yeah, if you're like, hey, everything's falling apart and going to handbag and here's why, you get tons of views.
Right, exactly. And just because this is happening, as I said in the beginning, doesn't mean we agree with it. We're just reporting the facts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't take a side here.
Right.
I don't agree with what. I mean, I'm just watching that happen. And of course, in a perfect world, we'd like things to be more affordable for more people because, hey, folks, if you really want, if we really want our as much business as possible,
we'd want it to be affordable. We want
all of you to be able to take part in purchasing homes.
So true.
Would I rather price be a little lower and my volume be up? Yes, absolutely. Because I'm going to make more money by selling more properties than I would if I get a little higher commission and the prices are higher. They're precluding people from being able to purchase them.
Exactly. Well, we appreciate you watching, and we appreciate all those that have commented on our channel. Obviously we love our supporters and we thank you guys so much, because we couldn't have do this without you. And in 2 months, it'll be our 3-year anniversary that we've been doing this, and we've seen it all in the last 3 years of real estate.
Well, thank you, Ange, for inviting me in 3 years ago.
Yeah.
We have seen a lot.
Yes.
I wouldn't say it all, but we've seen a lot.
Yes. Anyway, folks, thank you guys so much for watching.
Rock on.
And do it peacefully. And we'll see you on the next one. Stay tuned next week for Builder Incentives.
Builder Incentives next week.
Peace out.
Dun, 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 dun.